I'm Jen, and today we're talking about another hard part of grief after losing a baby, and it's those haunting what ifs that keep you up at night. What if I had gone to the hospital sooner? What if I had rested more? What if I hadn't had that glass of wine before I knew I was pregnant? These thoughts aren't just questions, they're really heavy, sharp-edged stones that sit on your chest in the middle of the night. I know them well myself, and I've never spoken to a mom yet that didn't have some sort of guilt that they struggled with. Today, I want us to sit together in this space, not to erase those thoughts completely because they naturally return periodically throughout your lifetime, but to understand them, soften them, and maybe, just maybe, start to let them go. Our brains are wired to look for answers when something terrible happens. It's a survival instinct. If we can find the reason something happened, maybe we can stop it from happening again. But when it comes to losing a baby, there's often no clear reason and no turning back the clock, and that is unbearable. So our minds start replaying everything like an old movie reel. We search every frame, every scene, looking for the moment we missed. It's exhausting and it's heartbreaking and it's not productive. And here's the thing, you're not alone in this. Research tells us that guilt and self blame are incredibly common after stillbirth. One study found that self blame in bereaved mothers is a strong predictor of poor mental health. Another study showed the feelings of guilt and shame can lead to increased anxiety, depression, and prolonged grief. These statistics tell us something important. If you're feeling this way, it's not because you've done something wrong, it's because you're human and you're grieving and you're not alone in these thoughts. Let me tell you about Sarah, one of my clients. Every night she replayed the same thought. What if I'd noticed she wasn't kicking sooner? If I'd just gone in earlier, maybe she'd still be here. It didn't matter how many doctors told her it wasn't her fault, her mind would not let her believe it. If you've been there, you know exactly how that feels. Something happens after a loss. We look back with perfect hindsight, holding ourselves to impossible standards. I should have known. I should have done better. I should have made different choices. I should have made all kinds of things happen that I had no control of. Hindsight is cruel because it gives you answers that you didn't have in the moment. Here's what I want you to hear. You made the best choice with the information you had at the time. You loved your baby. You took care of yourself. And you did the best for where you were at that exact moment in time. If someone you loved was in your shoes, you'd tell them that, wouldn't you? So, why is it so hard to offer that same compassion to ourselves? You can't go back. So, how is it serving you to continually blame yourself? I remember when I lost my twins, I replayed every doctor's appointment, every choice I made. And there was one moment when I wondered, what if I didn't cry about it when the doctor gave us the news? I was overwhelmed for a brief minute because the thought of adding two babies to our already busy home with two little boys scared me to death. But I did everything I could. I was loving them and I was caring for them and showed up every day and was very excited and on board with being a mom of duplicates. The emotional toll of carrying these thoughts is so heavy. Night after night, they can leave you sleep deprived, anxious, and completely drained. It's not just the lack of sleep, it's the way your mind can turn into an echo chamber, replaying the same what ifs over and over until they feel like undeniable truths. Those thoughts don't stay confined to the dark. They creep into your mornings, your afternoons, your quiet moments during the day. Maybe it's when you're folding laundry or driving to work, standing in the checkout line at the grocery store when you catch yourself slipping into that loop. Your shoulders are tense, your jaw is clenched, your stomach's in knots. Your body is carrying these thoughts just as much as your mind. It's exhausting and it takes a toll on your relationship, your career, your parenting, and your friendships. I want to tell you something really important. Guilt doesn't mean you did something wrong. More often, guilt is actually proof of love. You love your baby so much that your heart is desperately searching for a cause to make sense of the senseless. And when your mind can't find a reason, it turns inward, it blames you. But the truth is, carrying that weight won't bring your baby back. And I know you know that. But it's so hard to let go because, in some way, the guilt might feel like some sort of connection to them. Like if you stop feeling guilty, you're letting them go too. But that's not true. Your love for your baby will be with you every single day. One mom I worked with told me how she carried her guilt. When I asked where she felt it in her body, she said it was on her back and shoulders. So we did a visualization exercise. She was carrying a backpack full of rocks. Each time she thought of a what if scenario, it was a stone. And then, so she began, what if I hadn't noticed she was moving? What if I had noticed that she wasn't moving? What if I had rested more? What if I went to a different doctor? Every time she thought of something like that, we added a rock to her backpack. And every day she picked up that backpack and carried it with her everywhere she went. At the end of her session, she said, I'm so tired. I don't think I can carry this anymore. And you know what she realized? She didn't have to carry it all at once. She could start setting them down one at a time. It's not about suddenly letting go of everything. It's just about noticing when one thought is getting too heavy and choosing to gently set it down. I know it might sound easier said than done because there's this voice in your head that whispers, if I let this go, am I saying my baby didn't matter? Everyone will forget them. I'll forget them. But holding on to guilt doesn't honor your baby. Loving yourself through this pain does. You deserve rest. You deserve peace. And most of all, you deserve to heal. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you're still here. You're still breathing, still loving, still showing up every day, even when it feels impossible. Here are a few tools that can help you with those thoughts. Ground yourself in the present moment. When you catch yourself spiraling, use your senses to bring yourself back. Touch your blanket, notice your breathing, press your feet into the floor and stand up really straight. Sometimes envisioning grounding cords coming out from the bottom of your feet and latching onto the earth like tree roots can give you a much needed sense of security. Paper therapy. Keep a notebook by your bed. In my free guide, I have guided journaling that has you before bed write things out. It asks you a few questions to write things out. There's something so healing about writing things on paper and getting them out of your brain. They don't have to live in your head and be swirling around all night. Write down every what if thought as it comes. Putting things on paper can quiet your mind. Have a simple, loving phrase ready for when the guilt creeps in. Something like, I did my best with what I knew then. This was not my fault. This was so helpful for me as I could feel my anxiety ramping up and I could diffuse it with a simple mantra. It brings you back down to earth. Share these thoughts aloud. If you have a trusted friend, partner, therapist, or coach, share your what ifs. Speaking them out loud strips them of their power. One mom I worked with adopted the mantra, I did the best I could, and I am still her mom. Every time the guilt crept in, over time, these words started to give her comfort. Find something that can do that for you. Your love for your baby isn't tied to guilt. It's how you remember them. Letting go of guilt doesn't mean letting go of your baby. It means making space for both love and healing to exist side by side. And if no one has told you this today, you deserve peace. You deserve rest. And your baby would want that for you too. Remember, the what ifs might not disappear overnight, but with time, they can loosen their grip on you. If you're struggling with guilt and self blame, please know you don't have to face it alone. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love.